have the Mediterranean as seen from space, a vital route for merchants and travelers since ancient times. Its borders touch 3 continents and 23 countries. Its waters are home to 10 to 12,000 species of marine animals. The Med is also the world's #1 tourist destination. Some 200 million tourists make their way to Mediterranean coasts every year, with the figure set to rise to over 300 million by 2025. Some 3 million tons of fish are harvested from the Mediterranean waters each year. That's the fish that could wind up on your dinner table. You want it to come from clean and clear waters. The question is, what sort of Mediterranean do we wish to pass on to our children? This little beauty was crawling around on Pantera Beach in Turkey on the shores of the Mediterranean. She had this little piece of garbage in her hand. Yes. Swimmers and sea creatures share the Med's waters with millions of small and mid-sized passenger vessels and fishing boats, the vast majority of which are powered by emissions-producing engines. An estimated 200,000 emission-producing commercial ships cross the Mediterranean Sea each year, a number expected to grow by 300 or 400% in the next 20 years. The Mediterranean Sea constitutes just 0.7% of global water surface, yet receives 17% of global seawater pollution. Moreover, ship emissions contribute substantially to atmospheric pollution, aggravating climate change. Many marine species have been almost wiped out because of the sea's pollution. One of them is the Mediterranean monk seal, which is considered to be among the world's most endangered marine mammals. Fish are also endangered. Mediterranean beaches are increasingly hit with sea vessel pollution. The Max Planck Institute found that levels of key pollutants were up to 10 times higher in the Mediterranean basin than in other areas far from urban centers. This is clearly an issue for some meditation. But meditation alone won't secure a clear, clean future for the Mediterranean. We must deal with the cause of the problem. Replace polluting emission-spewing vessels with zero-emission vessels that neither release greenhouse gases or emit oil residue. This technology exists. A goal must be set. I propose 2030. Zero-emission powered sea vessels have been around since the 19th century. Blind ignorance and short-sighted greed, among other factors, prevented them being put to widespread use until now. Solar power and hydrogen fuel cell, as well as hydrogen solar hybrid, are proven technologies that can ferry passengers and transport large payloads of cargo. We see a tanker, a pleasure craft, and a ferry boat, all powered by zero-emission propulsion systems. Sailboats that actually have their sails up are always welcome, unlike so many of the gullets you see cruising the South Mediterranean, whose masts often don't even hold sails. Even nuclear power could be acceptable, so long as it meets standards of safety and does not pollute. Many say that it's not cost-effective for commerce. Some say otherwise, for example, the Japanese. The Mediterranean is fortunate to border the European Union, a political entity representing an educated and empowered population who can take the lead in addressing this issue. I propose an EU mandate of zero-emission Mediterranean by 2030. Such a mandate presents an enormous economic opportunity, both for the development of zero-emissions technology and for the sale of zero-emission vessels and propulsion systems. NATO should also be involved. Force goals will need to be modified to mandate zero emission for all military vessels on the Med by 2030. If a fuel cell powered sub can be built, NATO can lead the way to other zero emission vessels. To get things started, each of us must make our voices heard. I have launched a Facebook cause for a zero emission Med by 2030. Please join this cause. Talk about it to everyone you know. Make it an issue for Hungary's 2011 EU presidency. If we don't take action, however, and emission-producing vessels continue to pollute the Mediterranean waters and the atmosphere at an increasing rate, the sun will set on one of the Earth's greatest, most beautiful features. Thank you very much.